Chelsea, Kat, Britta, Shaggy, and Phoebe come from vastly different shows, but they all have one thing in common. They're all portrayed as kind of dumb. But apart from that, there's one other thing they share. They're all vegetarians. This had me thinking of this question. Are vegetarians dumb? Hi everybody, welcome to Mind and More, where we talk about anything that comes to mind and more. Today, let's talk about the portrayal of vegetarians in media. After noticing that many of the vegetarians in the shows I watch are kind of dim-witted, I got to thinking about whether there's a stereotype there. So as a vegetarian myself, I'm going to explore whether vegetarians are stereotyped as being dumb on TV. I'm going to discuss 12 vegetarians from 12 different TV shows and movies, and at the end of that, we'll decide whether this stereotype exists. Before we proceed, I think it's important that we establish what I mean when I say a character is dumb. Personally, I believe that there's so many different forms of intelligence, like book smarts, street smarts, artistic or musical intelligence, emotional or social intelligence, and so on, and that everyone has at least one. So in the real world, I don't believe you should call anyone on this entire planet dumb, because they probably just possess a kind of intelligence that you can't perceive or understand. But in this video, when we talk about characters being dumb, we're talking about how they don't have conventional intelligence in the show, as in that's how they're portrayed in comparison to their peers. For example, they may be naive or just seem to miss things that are deemed by others to be obvious. That's the dumb I'm referring to. Now that we've established that, let's go. Number 1 is Chelsea Daniels in That's So Raven. Chelsea is shown to us as basically an airhead. Many things fly over her head. She misunderstands sarcasm and takes idiomatic expressions literally, and that's all played for laughs in the show. Her strengths are in how loyal and environmentally conscious she is. Her vegetarianism is an important part of her character, as animal and environmental welfare are things that she's shown to deeply value. That being said, Chelsea is a great example of someone whose vegetarianism is central to their character and who is also portrayed as dumb. Let's move on to our next vegetarian. Number 2, Kat Valentine from Victorious. Kat is another airhead. She seems a lot more naive than her peers. She laughs at anything and sometimes acts more like a toddler than the teenager she is. She is, however, artistically gifted. For Kat, I would say that vegetarianism isn't central to her character, but it is made clear that she doesn't eat meat. Britta Perry from Community. Britta is shown to us to be someone who cares about various causes, including animal rights and environmental welfare, although her understanding of these issues may not always have much depth. Being a vegetarian is important to Britta's character, and she's not portrayed as being particularly smart. She's one of the study group members who's not quite taken seriously, and in fact, when someone messes up something, they're said to have Britta'd that thing. So basically, her name is synonymous with ruining things. Like Chelsea, Britta's vegetarianism is a core trait to her character, and she's portrayed as not being conventionally intelligent. Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo. When you look at the other members of Mystery Incorporated, Velma is the smart one, Fred is the leader, and Daphne is the stylish, trend-savvy member of the group. If you had to pick a dumb one, you'd probably pick Shaggy. While the other members focus on the mystery at hand, Shaggy is often the scaredy cat who prefers to be scouting for food with Scooby. Speaking of food, Shaggy is a vegetarian. He wasn't initially designed to be this way, but around the early 2000s, when his voice actor went vegetarian, Shaggy also became a vegetarian to reflect the actor's own values. There seems to be some inconsistencies when it comes to this aspect of his character, as there's times when he eats foods that resemble meat, but overall you can place Shaggy under this dumb vegetarian umbrella. The next character we'll discuss is Phoebe Buffay from Friends. Within the friend group, Phoebe is the only vegetarian. Her vegetarianism is something that is brought up several times over the course of the show, meaning it's important to her character. At first glance, Phoebe appears dim-witted. She seems more naive than the others. For example, she still believes in Santa Claus well into adulthood. However, on closer inspection, you'll find that Phoebe is actually really perceptive and she can see things that the other group members miss. But say you're watching the show for the first time, you'll leave with this impression that she's dumb and so can fit in this dumb vegetarian category. If you're enjoying this video and want to see more stuff like this, why not just subscribe? We also have Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. Now, Elle is not dumb, but she's treated as if she is. She's initially viewed as shallow just because she's girly. She's underestimated until she proves everyone wrong by making it into Harvard and excelling there. Her vegetarianism becomes something worth noting in the second movie, where the main focus is animal rights advocacy. I would say Elle doesn't fit neatly into this dumb vegetarian category, but like Phoebe, she might if you watch just the first few minutes of the first movie. So we've discussed 6 vegetarians who are portrayed as not being conventionally smart or who seem dumb at first. There seems to be a trend here. But before we make the conclusion that vegetarians are stereotyped as being dumb, let's look at 6 other vegetarians. Our 7th vegetarian is Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons. She's extremely intelligent and she's also a proud vegetarian who's environmentally conscious. She's the best example of a character that doesn't fit this dumb vegetarian stereotype. Similarly, Casey Cooper from Casey Undercover is another environmentally conscious vegetarian who gets excellent grades. In fact, her best friend Marissa is the one who's portrayed as being dim-witted. Next we have Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Although he has a bit of growing up to do because he's a kid, Aang shows some wisdom beyond his years. He's definitely not a dumb kid. Then we have Aria Montgomery from Pretty Little Liars. Aria is a normal teenage girl when the show first starts who is just like her peers. Although Spencer is the smartest of the group, none of the other girls, including Aria, are portrayed as dumb. Let's also talk about Angela Martin from The Office. Angela is one of the 3 accountants at Dunder Mifflin, Scranton branch. Angela is a lot of things, but dumb isn't one of them. Along with Oscar, Angela is one of the 2 smart accountants, while Kevin is portrayed as being the dumb one. And lastly, we have Sharon Spitz from Braceface. Like Aria, Sharon is just another regular, normal girl who can't be labeled as dumb. So what's the conclusion? Although many vegetarian characters are portrayed as dumb, you can't go as far as to say that vegetarians are generally portrayed as unintelligent in media. The dim-wittedness of these vegetarians is probably coincidental. They are dumb, and they just happen to be vegetarian. They are not dumb because they are vegetarian and vice versa. In the TV shows I mentioned, there are other non-vegetarian characters in these shows who are also kind of dumb. In Community, along with Britta, there's Troy. In Friends, Joey is portrayed as being more dim-witted than Phoebe. In The Office, Kevin is the dumb guy. Moreover, the vegetarianism of these characters may be influenced by the values of the actor who plays them. For example, Shaggy and the actor who voiced him. Also, Ariana Grande, who plays Kat Valentine, is vegan, and that possibly influenced the character. Another example is Zendaya, who's also a vegetarian, and so is her character Casey in Casey Undercover and Rocky in Shake It Up. So although the character may not have initially been written as a vegetarian, it can be changed to reflect the actor's values. Given all of this, as much as I'd want to take offense, there isn't enough evidence to conclude that vegetarians are stereotyped as dumb in media. If we have to form a theory, there's stronger evidence that vegetarians are stereotyped as being animal lovers or environmentally conscious when that isn't always the case. There are many other reasons why people may choose to follow a vegetarian lifestyle, but that's a story for another day.